Dumelang everyone, good day. Kgotsong. My name is Mmatshepo Letsoalo, and I am doing a video on mental health for the first time. So in case it's awkward, awkward as well, but maybe a little bit of background. There have been a number of times that I've been giving talks on mental health. Just to give context, I am a practicing registered counselor and a research psychologist, and that's what I do for a living, and that is my passion. I wouldn't trade my profession for anything. So this particular time, I had given a talk and I felt like I need to talk more, right? So just it's a story for another day. But we're here now. I think this is the day that the Lord has made. So October in particular, it's Mental Health Month, and 10th of October it's observed for Mental Health Day, where we would raise awareness on what mental health is, what type of mental disorders do people go through, and all of that. So that is particularly the reason why I will be having a talk with you today. So let's get to it. I intend to have this not as consistent, but particularly because of work, full-time work. So I'm worried about the consistency, but then I will do commit, and perhaps I would like to hear your engagement on it. Do you want more? Do you have questions that you want to get answers for? Do you want to engage? So yeah, what is mental health? So mental health can be simply put, I'm just gonna try not to be too clinical, as if I'm talking to my colleagues, or theoretical for that matter. So I'm gonna just be very open, like talking to a layman, right? So mental health can be simply understood as the way one takes care of themselves, the way one engage their emotions, as well as the way they think and the way they react. So I would normally say to the patients or clients that our mind and our emotions and our behavior are interlinked. The reason why people would say psychologists then they can read minds, it's not because they can really read minds. So what they do is they observe the behavior and they trace it back to say what would be the most likeliness that they thought of this and this. The way they're behaving, they're most likely thinking of this, they are most likely feeling this way. Then it sort of land us on the exact spot or close by, right? So meaning that your head, it's the powerhouse. And I understand that maybe medically the doctors would say the heart or heart organs, it's the main thing that make you to function and all of that. But from a psychological point of view, we are of the perception that your mind is the powerhouse, right? Because if your mind is not functional, then it means you're not going to have quality life, so to say, as maybe defined by the society, what quality life refers to, right? So before I scroll, let me come back and say, so mental health, it's about how you engage yourself emotionally, how you're going to probably react to certain situations, and how you're going to regulate your emotions, right? And by regulating, I mean taking good responsibility of how you're going to feel. So I understand that some people are thinkers a lot, some people are behaviorists. Literally, they behave before they think, and then they come back and say, in fact, did I really have to do that, right? Some people feel a lot, and I think I'm one of those people who feel a lot. Then yeah, I have a balance of thinking a lot and feeling, but I think I feel a lot, right? And then so that's basically what mental health is about. So whether or not your mental health is at par or it's attaining some form of illness, then it's going to depend on how you react. It's going to depend on how you receive your engagement with the society, your engagement with your body. It's going to depend on the engagement you have with your spirituality. It's going to also depend on how you tend to sit with yourself down and engage your thinking. So we say whatever that you think, it's going to impact on how you feel, and whatever that you feel, it's probably going to transfer to how you're going to react and how you're going to particularly engage others, or how people are going to see you, because somehow, some way, we engage, we temper on each other's toes. Sometimes we bleed on others. Sometimes people bleed on us. Sometimes we bleed on nature, right? So if one asks, particularly my fellow colleagues, I would say I prefer using a biopsychosocial spiritual model, because of the understanding that people are biological, they are also psychological, they are also social, and they are also spiritual, the body, the mind, and the spirit, right? So I'm gonna move. I think I'm being long on this one. So what then constitutes to someone who's mentally okay, right? So a person who's mentally okay would refer that they take whatever they are faced with as stress, and stress can be defined as just pressure, right? And then go pressure, and then you deal with the pressure, then you move on, right? You don't hold on to the pressure. You don't stay with it and then you own. That is good mental health. Meaning, for example, when you are stressed out, you sit down and say, what is stressing you out, Mmatshepo? You say, okay, well, ke stress like exam. Really? Okay. So, oiranga yona. Okay, ke tlo bala, and then before you know it, the exam anxiety or stress, it is resolved because why overdile or unwadile. Some of the issues, you don't have to resolve them by trying to, I don't know, change circumstances, but it's more of allowing your mind to understand that it's under pressure now because of what. Immediately you understand it, then it's more of giving yourself permission to say, yeah, once when I'm under exam stress or exam pressure, right? And then you go to write, then you come back, then you're okay. You don't even have to go for therapy for it, because why? Exam if you deal reshapo, keep hands down, right? That's for example. And you're able to say, under my stress, I'm not dysfunctional. To a point more longer now, people are starting to question or so you are not dysfunctional, you are not distracted in terms of your living patterns. We allow you, so psychologically we allow you to feel that pressure. We allow you to go through that you are presenting with, given the circumstance. I often say that therapy is actually contextualized. It's a personalized thing that is tailored for you. You know, address ye longore o ya go a designer gore by create ba go seamstress le yona, I hope it's the right word, yeah. But they look out for your size, perfect measures, and all of that. It's for you. Not everybody else can wear it but you. So you will then sit and say, in my circumstance right now, what is it that I need, right? Do I need to accept the situation? Do I need to do something about it? What do I need to do, right? And I'm gonna move from good mental health. So good mental health does not mean that you don't have problems. Good mental health does not mean that you don't have stress, but it means that you're able to manage the stress. You're able to allow yourself to be human and feel the stress, and don't think it's abnormal. Ooh, oh my gosh, what are people going to say? Under stress. No. Allow yourself to feel it. You're being human. You have those emotions, right? What you need to know or learn is just to regulate them, right? And manage them and take responsibility of them. Then that is okay. Meaning that you don't have to pile up a lot of pressure in you. Now I'm going to the ill health now. When we talk about mental illness or mental disorders, or sometimes they use the word abnormal psychology, then it will refer to now you going through emotions that are uncontrollable, going through feelings that you yourself cannot even contain, and it's also causing disruption for your life and other people. It's inconveniencing those around you. It's inconveniencing your work. It's inconveniencing your schoolwork. It's inconveniencing children if you have kids. It's inconveniencing your loved ones and friends, right? In a sense that now we really cannot take it anymore. Guys, right? The background noise, I hope it's not too loud. I hope I'm overcoming the loudness. Apologies for that. Where my train of thought. Mental illness. Okay. So when you are going through mental illness, now we have a problem here to maintain your anger. Now we different patterns. You used to be a light sleeper, now you oversleep. Or you used to be but all of a sudden o lala o tsogile mashego go ka tsoga ka phosho boshego ke mathata, right? So what I'm trying to say ke what used to be normal to you, whatever normal looks like, because normal to someone might be o struggle ka insomnia legal. Normal can be and insomnia ke no ra go se robala ke what might be normal to you ke legal like myself. I'm a very light eater. I understand ke na le mokaba, yeah, but I'm a very light eater. But whenever I'm stressed, ooh boy, I eat, and I eat junk food, and I'm very, very aware of it. Time and again I call myself out. Time and again I'm just like, I'm just gonna let myself be and soak my emotions and eat the chocolate and stuff, right? So what is normal to you will then mean but then when you're stressed out, born. Now other symptoms and a disorder or mental illness problem socialize. All of a sudden withdrawn and people can tell him or her and they are very much in denial. Another thing that we can see very, very hard just to run away from the world and just immerse themselves in work. One might say that is a very good defense mechanism, but then in a lot of senior the relationship and stuff, right? And then one might also irritability, literally bore. And then sometimes we can see physiologically headache. Some people babale headache strenuous, one panado, one grandpa foley. Other people rewona constipation or diarrhea. It's either or, right? It's either only the people who can manage stress and then they overcome because banally the coping mechanisms and they get to sit with themselves and engage themselves, right? Mara gona le ba bangwe ya go ba palela to even sit with themselves. Then ke re tlo feletsa re bona the things that I'm saying. Constipation, it's one of them. Diarrhea, nako nngwe di ulcers, mouth ulcers, dithaka. I used to see ka dithaka gore I'm not okay as well. Dithaka king, the tonsils, tshela tsa go nkga tshela mo, the tonsils. Other people you'd see or bana le heartburn. Other people would have what other physiological, heartburn, problem of concentration. It's not really physiological, but yeah, concentration is one of the other things. Motho no bolela gape ke nyakana le balloon like I mara I tshwere ile, right? Nako nngwe o khotsa ile gore motho o ba le problem ya gore o wa okay ke boletsa ka go isolate o felletsa a ba le issue ya nako nngwe motho felletsa a ba le issue ya forgetfulness, o no lebala like concentration, like I said. And then obviously it affects productivity go le sekolong go ba go le mmerekong, the relationship tša gago ge ile taba ya mojolo o no ka o tenega, all of a sudden gele wa go bitša go ba happy go ba boyfriend, whoever, o feel like do I really have to go, really? Ge ile bo Mmatshepo ba ina le bana ka mokgo feletša no feel ka ya wen letao, you know. And then all of a sudden re ntšhetša ko baneng, re ntšhetša ko mmerekong, re ntšhetša ko kerekeng and all of that, right? So there are different types of mental illnesses or different types of disorders. I think maybe I can unpack them individually. Should really a need right? And one of those trauma and stress related disorders mo ileng gore motho ba ka ra an unforeseen circumstance or something that threatens their life to a point mo lo ba feel like they almost died or they experienced or learned about it. Majority of therapists, mapodisa, as well as the mental health not mental but health providers, doctor, nurse, they go through a lot of trauma because of what's happening. Remember, as much as we're professional, we're also human beings, right? We are not we are also susceptible to mental illness. So most of us, we go through what we call vicarious trauma, or secondary trauma, or trauma, all our traumatized. When wa fetsa wa bona trauma on literally when a patient relays or what happened, e be ke tsamaya ke ya go Mabopane highway ge ke feta, you like every time you feta Mabopane highway you like yo barile mo, this is what happened, right? So secondary trauma. So renal stress and trauma related, and the part ka trauma ke gore ya dula, trauma ya dula, and it sort of give you a personality. It takes over your life because why? It's something ye go tlhagetseng to a point mo ileng gore e thoma go ba ntwela ya gore o dula o on a defense mechanism, any type of defense mechanism because of it. Ke ntwela gore ka sepedi ba re wa bona selwana se swana o bona le mo go kolodi. I can make an example ke if you went through trauma ya koloi time and again fan go tsena ka kolong wa boifa, you know, so ya dula mo wena ya go gopotsa ya triggerana trauma, and nako nngwe e feletša e take over mo ile re e ba gore it's part of you. Ya ge ka se fola ga botsana o gola le yona, o feletša o sa tsebe gore ke na le problem ya daddy issue because papa o tsamaile goba papa na betha mama o papa o tlhokofetse e sa le early, and wena ke gone jojo o thoma go tšwa matlhalagading o lemoga gore o tlhoka papa, then that void ke neglect sort of, mara it's not an intentional one. I get nako nngwe ge o tlhokofaletše, so ke neglect, and then it's traumatic to a point mo ile gore o feletša o e ba le problem ya gore o nyaka papa go parking, for example, o feletša o e ba I think, let me pause here. In fact, ke senya taba ya trauma ke tla ke tlhalosa in depth ge re bolela ka trauma and stress related. We have depression re bona ka loss of interest ya bophelo most of the time, re bona gape le ka hopelessness ka bophelo, wa ba le di-suicidal thoughts, nako nngwe ba bangwe ba ba le self-harm. Sometimes it's a non-suicidal self-harm, meaning gore o nyako ke polaya mara no a ke tlhalosa gabotse ke harm yela gore ke ntšha botlhoko ka gare gaka, because I can't express it ka molomo, I will express it ka go ke kweša botlhoko. Majority of the time people would cut them on the wrist, on the arms, on the thighs, so nako nngwe it's not really a one ya go ke polaya per se, ke ya go no, it's a cry for help, if I can put it. It's non-suicidal, but then others it's very very suicidal, to a point mo ile re ba bitša di-parasuicide, ba šetše ba tšo ba sepetlele gabedi ga raro ga 10, motho wa gona a hwimatwa o dula a leka go commita suicide. I was trying to keep this video up until 30 minutes. And then we have sexual disorders. Example ya gona ke pedophilia, mo ileng gore go ba le monna goba mosadi o mogolo wa ke nyakelang bana ba bannyane, ke tše dintšhi di-sexual disorders re tla re di bolela. And then ra ba gape le di-eating disorder, the most known one ke anorexia le bulimia nervosa. I always get it wrong. Bulimia nervosa. It's one of those things tšeo e leng gore motho ba obsessed ka mmele wa gago, o bala di-calories ga e ja and all of that. We'll get to that again. And then we have mood disorders. Depression is one of them. Bipolar is one of them. So bipolar is just having two poles of your emotions. You struggle to be in the middle, meaning will you be extremely happy, mania, or you be extremely sad. Depression, bipolar. And then depression, it's sadness that most of the time it's emotionally the suicidal ideations, like I said, o lose interest ka bophelo, like go imagine o imelwa very very serious than batho ba bangwe, right? So ke fela ke no tlhalosa gore depression it's more like stress sa go tsenelela, right? Stress times 4 times 5 sa go se bereke. So ke tlo no emiša mo ke tše dintšhi di disorder, mental illnesses, ke tlo no emiša mo ke re for this particular first video ke suggestang, right? Ke suggesta gore a re lemogeng gore our mental health, it has to do with the way re kwešišang ka mokgo re ikutlwang ka gona. It has to do with the way re kwešišang mediro ya rena, gape how re connectang le batho ba bangwe, gape how re connectang le the world, the nature, right? Go na le batho ba bangwe ba believer gore ge ke se okay le modimo ke a hlafurikana, ba bangwe ba fila gore ge nka se be okay le pastor wa ko kerekeng goba ntate moruti ke sa phethe ditaelo ke a shasharakana, ba bangwe ba fila gore ge nka no se ye metsing goba ka se maybe ka se yo tlhapišwa, ka se yo bona kobela yaka ke a tlhakatlhakana. So there is that element ya spirituality, but more than anything wellness ya motho, mental wellness or whatever, it depend on they're interlinked between the mind, the body, the soul, the spirit. I get the socialization, obviously, finance, obviously, education, obviously, all of those things. Because our intended to keep this 30 minutes, but get about good. And then the minute our mental health depend on the way re na re perceivang dilo ka mo kgopolong, re tlo lemoga gore ka nnete kgopolo ya rena it's our powerhouse. Ge re ka no bja kgopolo ya rena gabotse, re sharp, dilo stofong like re sharp, right? Re ke no feleletša ka demonstration recently, very very recently. I was at an event ya cancer where I was trying to indicate or mental illness e bonagala jwang. When we say mental health, not mental illness, but mental health, re bolela ka eng. I used this balloon. I'm sure you probably like, and then balloon guy. This was the example that I was using. So a green color, it's a mental health color. Yellow raishumisha, a pink one, it's for cancer. So I demonstrated with this. I'm very dry. Let me just quickly have water. Okay, so this will be maybe usarolos namatata. Yeah. Then kaling katazo malumi ao bea difarong are motlogolo e tla keno ke nyako bolela le wena. Trauma number 1, ao bea diropeng a go tshwara ka mokgwa o sa swanelang. Akere ke trauma number 1 ye o e tshwereng. And then wa gola, papa mama a tlhokofala. Number 2, kana ha o kgone go bolela o tsebe gore o bolele le mang. Majority of the times bana ba banyane, they don't know how to regulate their emotions. We normally suggest gore re ba rute go regulate the emotions ge ntse ba gola. Ka toy therapy perhaps from 5 years, but tsebe gore a ke no kwata ka no re I want this. They need to understand or articulate. What do you want? I don't want. Do you want? What are you feeling? Define your feeling. Oh, we'll talk about that, right? Then wabali issue ya gore we are boarding school ba re o dule ko Magoka, ke tswa Magoka hostel nna o le teng o ke figure out o feelang kwa batswadi ba go throw away ba go discarda. Hey, why isn't you dule ke le teng ka tromel? Anyway, that's another trauma. A wa tšho dila le tšona o fela o bolela le moruti ge a bolela le wena wa fokotšanyana a deflate wa feel ka a go bad. In fact, batswadi ba ka ne ba nthuša gore ke hostel gore ke be le independence. Anyway, community ya ko gae ne se sharp. Then you understand immediately, you have understanding. Ha e sa ba in illness ko go wena, now you can contextualize it. These other things o sa di tshwere go a dira gore o kopane le partner ya go tshwana le yaka a go traumatize. Our first stress se se ntši sa mojolo. Anyway, ke a bapala bad motho wa ka. And then some of them o thoma go triggera tšela tša bo papa, o triggera tša bo mma kwa morago. Haven't dealt with ka se therapy ka ba ka qualifier ko University of Limpopo, ka ba registered counselor. And then ka thoma ka yo bona di-patient a se ke counseling. Di-patient tšela ge di bolela mathata a bona ke kwa kare ba bolela ka nna. And then ke punch it. I can't hold it anymore. So, in conclusion, when you go through that, tla be le suicide, tla bo lahletse, tla bo go ina le malwetse a dipelo, o tla bo thoma o diagnose wa ka bo gore o na le di-minor stroke, molomo o tšhekama because o imetswe ga wa bolela. Re kgopela gore ge o ya through dilo deflate ka mogola ke beng ke re be ke bolela le moruti deflate o fokotse gore o ska punch. To more, if you want to engage, please do. I would like to hear what you think of this video. Do you want more of them? Should we continue beyond mental health month? What type of conversation would you like to have? Which other mental disorders and illnesses have you ever heard of that you want me to discuss on? I'm happy to do that. I would like to hear your feedback, please. And then engagement, let's have conversation. Yeah, I'm glad I did this video. I hope you're glad too. Until next time, peace.